Hello you wonderful people, my name is Michael and I'm making a video game. After the somewhat tiny amount of progress I made on the game last month, I have gotten an absolute ton of things done in June, and the game is really starting to take shape. Early on this month I was working on the game's HUD. The HUD displays the player's stamina, health and armor, and also the health and armor of any enemies that are on screen. It is functionally complete at this point, and it takes a fair amount of inspiration from 90s Mega Drive games, as does the rest of the game for that matter. I decided I didn't want to have numbers or bars representing the status of the player, in the vein of Gauntlet or Street Fighter, and in the end I went for stylized gems to represent the status of the player, somewhat in the vein of the HUD from games such as Altered Beast or Golden Axe. Both the enemies and the player have a certain amount of health and armor. The health is pretty standard, it reaches 0, you die. Armor works in conjunction with health, absorbing any damage taken before the health takes any damage itself. I'll talk a bit more about the armor in a minute. The player has a top bar that represents stamina. Stamina is consumed upon performing attacks, and it regenerates slowly over time. The amount of stamina the player has directly influences the speed in which he attacks, blocks and moves. So the lower your stamina, the slower you are and the riskier it is to attack or maneuver, because you'll be left open for a longer amount of time. The player can now also perform power attacks, which are all half-swording maneuvers. Half-swording is a set of techniques that were used historically, primarily with the purpose of defeating armor. To put it simply, half-swording involves grabbing the blade of the sword with your second hand, and then you attempt to swing the pommel, or the wrong end of the sword, at your opponent, or you make a strong targeted thrust towards gaps in armor. In terms of the game mechanics, the power attacks are used to deal triple damage to an enemy's armor. When using standard attacks, it takes 3 strikes to break through 1 gem of armor, and half-swording reduces that down to 1 attack. At this point, half-swording does normal damage against an enemy's health if their armor is depleted. I also have death animations for the axe enemy completed, and the conditions for entering into and out of combat are all good to go. This means you can now finish combat and continue moving forward in a level. The village level is largely complete now, and even though it's only populated with the 1 enemy type, all the systems for combat and enemy spawns are in place, and adding more enemies is largely just a matter of animating them, defining their behaviour, and throwing them straight into the engine. I've also completed the tiles and layout for another level, which is the Catacombs. You find this level about 2/3 of the way through the game. I also have the beginnings of NPC interactions and systems for handling conversations, character portraits and the like underway at the moment. Those systems aren't too far off being functional, they're pretty close to being done. Now, in musical news, Josh and John have been continuing writing music for the game. And they have been recording a number of demos and sending them through to me. we'll probably be recording some of those properly in the next month or two, depending on scheduling and when we can all meet up and that sort of thing. So yeah, everything's going well. I've caught up with everything I need to this month. I'm really excited about actually getting this thing finished. Soon I'll have enough of the game together to start putting out some more in-depth gameplay videos, and I can think about sending out early previews to the press and all that sort of fun stuff, and that's the point where you realise, holy shit, this is actually a game. Oh yeah, and I've nearly forgotten. I've got a name for my game too. I'd like to introduce you to Bannerman. A Bannerman is historically the standard bearer, or the person who carries a flag out the front of a formation of troops, which happens to be exactly what you do towards the beginning of the game. So yeah, it's all going well, but even a quick look at my schedule shows that I'm running out of months. Will it be done in time? Yeah, I think so. I think I'll get it all done when it should be done. Everything's going pretty good. Life's pretty good at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. But anyway, you know, if it starts falling behind, then that's a problem for future Michael anyway, and he can deal with that. I hate that guy, he's a dickhead. And just a side note here, if you want a bit more information about Bannerman, you want to stay more up to date with what's going on, just follow me on Twitter, because I put things up about, I don't know, at least twice, 3 times a week. I put up GIFs and you know, just post about what's going on, that sort of thing. So if you are looking for more information, here there's a link. Have a look there, or don't. I don't fucking care. Do what you want. Do what you want, man. Well, yeah. Catch you next month. It's gonna be good.